Hey everyone, remember us? Kyle, Rickey, and Bonssa Tufa here at the Stafford Motor Speedway after not 1 but 2 weeks off. Unfortunately, last week it was because of Elsa.
Thanks, Elsa.
This week, we anticipate a much drier racetrack and cars back out here on the Stafford Half Mile.
2 weeks, but it feels like 2 years, it seems. It's just been so long. It's our third rain out of the year, too, because we had one earlier. It's so tough. You don't have much to do when you're focused on racing so much, and to come back now after 2 weeks, it's kind of therapeutic in a way. It's just nice to get back on the track and see some cars go out there and race.
A lot of the race teams, I'm sure, had a lot of work to do, though, over the last 2 weeks after a wild event 3 weeks ago here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll talk about that here. Begin with the SK Modifieds. The last time out, it was the money man, Mike Christopher Jr., picking up the race win in the SK 5K. In what has been a very competitive season for the SK Modifieds.
Well, he's one of only 2 repeat winners in the SKs this year, along with Tyler Hines. We've had 2 first-time winners with Brian Narducci and, as I mentioned before, Hines. And we've been getting consistent fields of about 23 to 24 cars. 16 drivers out of that field have scored a top 5 finish. That is unbelievable. 12 of them have scored a podium. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we saw Matt Vassar, David Roux, and Brian Narducci all have their first career podium in the SK Modifieds. The competition is great. There's still guys like Todd Owen who are looking for their first win. But Steven Kopchak right now is on top by 22 points because he's been very consistent. 1 win, but 3 second places as well.
They're back in action here this Friday night after a 3-week break. The late models, probably the one class that needed that couple-week break. After a rough and tumble event here a couple of weeks ago, our last time out, Andrew Moeller becoming the first new winner of the late models. But it took a while to get to the checkered flag.
It wasn't pretty, to say the least. A lot of those cautions happening in the last 3 laps of the race. Moeller led by about 5 seconds when the caution came out with about 3 or 4 to go. He held off Adam Gray, Ryan Fern, and a lot of restarts in between to do it. Good for him to get his first late model win. He's been very impressive this year. And talking about parity in the SKs, we've seen 20-plus car fields in the late models, and half of them have scored a podium as well. And you still got guys like Ryan Fern looking for their first win. So it's still up in the air as to who's up and top in the championship points. But Michael Ray, he hasn't won a race, and he's leading the point standings right now by 14 because he's got a top 10 in every single race this season. No other late model driver has done that.
Consistency is key when it comes to winning championships here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Derek Devis has been consistent in the SK Light Modifieds, another competitive field, 5 different winners in the last 5 weeks. Can anybody catch Derek, though, who's been on the podium the last 3 races?
That's the big thing. He's been consistent. Brian Sullivan had a DNF the last time we were here, got caught up in an accident on lap 1. George Bissett Jr., 2 weeks in a row that he's been caught up in an accident, not of his own doing. So the points is spread. A couple races ago, the top 4 were 8 points apart. Now, they're over 50 points apart, and Devis leads by 32 over Sullivan. He's been consistent. He's got 3 wins to lead the division, but he's also getting those top 5s and top 10s.
Limited late models are in action here this week as well. Another competitive field, 2 new winners already this season, but it's Alexandra Fern that everybody's been talking about. She's been consistent. That's why she's the point leader. But last time we were out, came up so... Just a 4 thousandths of a second shy of another checkered flag.
That was a fun last lap, though, between her and Rich Hammond. We're talking about competitive field. Rich Hammond, a first-time winner. He's got 2 wins now this year. Mike Hopkins got his first win, the limited late models this year. 5 different winners if you include Matt Clement as well. So the field is very competitive, and it's a bigger field than we've seen in recent years, which is good to see. We've been getting over 10 cars pretty much every single week. So you got competitors like Jeremy Lavoie that are still looking for their first wins. Even though Alex Fern is leading the points, he's only leading by 14. One bad race can change everything.
Averaging about 15 cars in the limited late models and getting above 20 every week in the street stocks. And this Friday night, it is their night here, a special 30-lap event. And also back-to-back first-time winners for the street stocks in their last 2 races.
Adrian Paradis and then Nick Hovey. Good for both of them to get their first win. We've had a lot of first-time winners this year at Stafford. But tonight or Friday night, I should say, is the big money race for the street stocks. 30 laps, it's longer. We'll see if patience prevails. We saw contenders like Burt Willett and Tyler Trott a couple weeks ago have trouble, but they were fast during the season. Frank Latois coming off his first DNF of the year after he had a mechanical issue on the backstretch. That let Chris Meyer, who's the point leader, pull away by about 20 points over the rest of the field. But 30 laps is a lot. We'll see who will be able to hold on and keep it consistent through that entire feature.
So many storylines in all 5 of our weekly divisions here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and again highlighted by the Midstate Site Development 30 for the Street Stocks here Friday night. Hope you can come out, or if you can't be here live, join us on Flow Racing. All the action gets underway at 6 p.m. Eastern Time here from Stafford Motor Speedway.